Friends, my name is Yogesh Sharma and today I am going to discuss a very important concept of web programming, that is the introduction of REST services. Okay guys, if you want to make your own web API to provide interface to your database or your application, in that condition you can use the REST services. So guys, let's start and understand that what is the REST services actually. So we can define representational state transfer as an architectural style that sits on top of a series of principles. It means that we have to follow some principles which are defined by the REST services to implement it. Okay, and the most benefit of this particular technology is that, for example, I am taking it in the context of ASP.NET. So ASP.NET Web API is a framework that makes it easy to build HTTP services that reach a broad range of clients, including browsers, mobile devices, and it's an ideal platform for building RESTful application for .NET framework. What does that mean? That actually, if you have created your application, on or a website, and you are interacting with the database, okay, but in case if you want to implement on your Android application, then how it is possible? Because you have created your database in SQL Server and you want to make connection from your Android application to a SQL Server. It's a very tedious task. Okay, so to implement this, that we providing an interface for the Android application or for the iOS application by which your Android app or iOS app can interact with the SQL Server through the APIs or through the interfaces. So that is the important thing that we should understand. Okay, so you can understand this all these things through this picture, that you are interacting with the iOS application. Is the Apple is showing the iOS application, and this icon is showing the Android app and the Windows app or Windows mobile app, and all the browsers are interacting with the API and API is interacting with the database. So it is a very important task, because now the people wants that their application should execute on the Android app, on iOS and Windows app, and so that is why to provide a single or uniform interface by which we can implement it by through the REST services. Okay, so come to the REST principle, that what REST principle is followed by it, and these are the some basic uniform interface, stateless, cacheable, client server. So let me discuss about them out one by one. So first we will discuss the uniform interface. Here you can see we can request the resource, the things that we want to manage using the API. What is the meaning of resources actually? Resources can be a database table, can be a picture, can be a document on your server hosted. So you can get that through the URI or through the URL. Okay, you are giving the URL, and through the URL you are getting all these things. You are not writing any code to get the database table data and all these things. Okay, and the data is returning by the server, can be XML format, JSON format, PNG or HTML. Whatever format you are returning from the database from the server is going to the client. Okay, so second thing is stateless. The main feature of this particular REST services are the stateless. Stateless means that you are not storing data. Okay, you are not storing the client data onto the server. Like you can understand it if you have implemented a session and application states. So in this case, in REST services, we are not implementing the any kind of states of the client. Okay, and this is the fundamental principle. And okay, so another feature of REST services are cacheable. The client can cache the resource. If we manage the cache correctly, we can save server tests to the server. Okay, it means that the client can store the output that is returning from the REST services on the client side only. Okay, on this computer, to prevent several trips to the server. For example, that you have already taken the employee database table on your client, in that means that you are just retrieving the client data from the client itself, from the client browser itself. Okay, you are not sending the request to get the employee data again. And another feature is the client server. What is the client sees in the URI? Representation of the resource, that's all. Okay, you are just putting the URL and you are getting the resource. This is the client server architecture. And another principle is the layered system. What is the layered system? That you doesn't know that how you are getting the data. that you are getting the data through the, and on which server you are interacting with the PHP application, you are interacting with the .NET application or Java application, or you are interacting with the proxy server or actual server. You doesn't know about them, because you are putting some URL and you are getting the data. And code on demand is very important task, because presently it's using code on demand means that server can send any JavaScript code, okay, by which your client can execute. Okay, so this is the code on demand. Okay, so what is the important thing in HTTP is the HTTP verbs. Okay, verbs means that there are some predefined verbs by which you can make the communication. Okay, an aspect of REST that contract with SOAP is that operation on the resource is based on the HTTP verb used in combination with the URI. Okay, so we will discuss it later. These can be used with their semantic mean. So when we need a resource, we can use the get method, and we need delete a resource, we can delete, and so on. Okay, so if you want to insert some data to the database server, then that condition you have to use the post verb. If you want to perform some updation on the server application server or database server, in that condition you have to use the put verb. So they are predefined verbs, and you can see all these verbs that can be used in REST services over here, like get, delete, post, put, patch, options, and head. All these verbs have different meanings. For example, that get, if you are concerning about the get means that you are just getting the resources. For example, you are getting the employee list only. Okay, so in that condition the URL would be, as here you can see here, /post is means that your domain is yogesh.net.com. in that condition www.yogesh.net.com/post, it means that you are sending a request to get the data. Okay, second request is get post 42. Post 42 means that you want to employ data with the ID of 42 only. Okay, so you can also perform this request to the get request also, and get verb. And delete means that if you want to delete some records from the database table, in that condition you will write post/42. I'm not telling you about the domain name again and again. And post is whenever you are sending the data to the database server, in that condition you have to use the post. Put means whenever you want to make some updation into database table. Patch, partial update. Options, retrieve the available operation on the resources, and had written only the HTTP headers. So there are some predefined verbs, and we can use them. So guys, the introduction of REST services has been completed right now. But if you want to implement them, that how we can implement, I am going to upload some more videos based on them, and I will discuss all these verbs in that on those examples. So guys, if you like this video, then please subscribe my channel. Thank you very much.